Altitude sickness might kill your holiday mood faster than it kills you. In the next few minutes, you'll experience each altitude illness creeping its way through your body. It'll start with headaches and escalate to conditions that blind, suffocate, and pressure cook your brain. Curious yet? Acute Mountain Sickness, AMS. A nasty headache in the making. Picture perfect hiking trails lure you up the mountain. But, surprise, altitude lovingly greets you with a headache that feels like a dozen low-flying jets take off in your skull. You feel nauseated, dizzy. Walking feels like a bad joke. Your body is whispering or maybe yelling that it wants more oxygen. Here's the science. Acute mountain sickness, AMS, kicks in when your body's oxygen supply doesn't meet demands. As you ascend, barometric pressure falls, reducing oxygen saturation in the blood. Symptoms manifest a few hours after you hit over 8,000 feet. The only cure? Descend, fast, or kiss your hiking plans goodbye. Leave AMS unchecked, and it could progress into more serious dilemmas. But don't stop here. Environments will next swap your mere headache for something that might drown you in your sleep. High-altitude pulmonary edema, HAPE. Drowning in your own lungs, slowly. Next time your breathing starts sounding like a broken accordion, pay attention. HAPE has arrived. Fluid invades the lungs, creating a symphony of coughs and shortness of breath. Even lying still feels like running a marathon. What brings this melodic misery? Your body sends blood to the lung vessels to capture more elusive oxygen. The vessels, overwhelmed, begin to leak. Ascend above 8,200 feet too swiftly, and you might just hear the soundtrack to pulmonary chaos. Immediate descent and medical intervention can strike silence back. But HAPE isn't the grand finale. It's opening for the act where altitude really messes with your mind. A pressure cooker of the brain awaits. High-altitude cerebral edema, HACE. When your brain becomes a pressure cooker. Feel like trekking farther up? How about a brain that operates like a hot pocket on high power? HACE is here when your brain decides to take up more room than your skull allows. Swelling causes confusion, hallucinations, and imbalance. You're trapped in a surreal dance where up feels like down. Here's what's going on. Less oxygen means your blood-brain barrier isn't pulling its weight. Fluid leaks into your brain tissue, creating pressure and chaos. Pushing beyond 14,000 feet turns you into a victim, unless immediate descent is in your itinerary. Cerebral pressure waits for no one. But HACE isn't the ceiling of your mountain nightmares. Next, something that lingers without you even needing to climb. Chronic mountain sickness, Monge's disease. Altitude's lingering ghost. Living life at altitudes others only visit may sound romantic, but Monge's disease is a relentless haunting. Slowly, this chronic condition strips your blood of oxygen, replaces red cells with a surplus it can only misuse. Headaches, breathlessness, and ridiculous fatigue become your new companions. Monge's disease loves residency in folks settled above 8,200 feet. Over time, high hemoglobin levels drive your blood into sluggish transit, struggling like thick syrup through a straw. No quick descent or rescue to this torture. Treatment's an ordeal. Lower altitudes or periodic bloodletting to maintain a fragile balance. Monge's disease doesn't claim you quickly. It waits. But, for some, even hanging out near sea level offers no refuge from altitude's final wrath. High-altitude retinal hemorrhage. When altitude blinds you, everything's blurry? Not the altitude selfie filter. High altitude can bleed into your eyes, quite literally. Retinal hemorrhage begins with blurred vision, headaches, and possibly permanent damage. Imagine climbing Mount Everest only to find you can't see the peak. Let's get clinical. At altitudes over 16,000 feet, low atmospheric pressure disrupts blood flow to your retina. Little vessels inside the eye rupture, and blindness looms. Retinal hemorrhages might resolve with descent, but they could leave permanent stains on your vision. Not every climber gets this dubious honor, but when they do, it leaves a lasting impression. There's no cure at the summit. Climbers weigh each step, knowing the altitude visions can betray permanently. Peak altitude offers forms of peril few minds can fathom. For most, descent, intervention, or lucky breath in of air saves you from nature's sophisticated tortures. But the highest realms claim without barter. There, luck runs dry, science has no counter. Yet, this list, brutal as it is one you mostly turn your back on. May your journey never wander too far into these peaks, where air and options thin alike, leaving you with nothing but horizon and hubris.